So you might say that journalism is in an alarming situation right now. We have trust is plummeting. We have active efforts to undermine this role of journalism in civil society. And people have legitimate concerns as well. We can look at this as an opportunity, however. We know at the Trust Project from talking with nearly 50 people that people do value news. They are looking at news we hear over and over because they want to know what's going on in the world. Like Wendy wants to know, news is there to tell us what's going on around the world, around the neighborhood. But she has a criticism. I'd like for it to be more real, not just selling a viewpoint or person. I'm ahead of myself here. So the idea of the Trust Project is to make it easy for Wendy to find that news that she's looking for, and also to navigate through this torrent of information that some is high quality, some is poor quality, some is deliberately designed to incite. So can we embed indicators of trustworthiness in every work that signal to the public things that they're looking for in the news, and then offer news distribution platforms like Google and Facebook and Twitter, machine-readable signals that they can use to elevate quality work. So what do we mean by trust anyway? We've looked at the scholarly literature, and trust is information you feel that you can act on. It's information that's dependable, that's competent, that's based on ethics, that's predictable, consistent, and we know it has positive intentions. We've talked with our users who have given us more nuance, and they want to know, we know you think you're unbiased, but tell us your agenda. We want to know more about this journalist. We want to hear more than just from people in power in business and government. What's the source? Where did you get that information? And let me participate. I want to engage. So we take those ideas that we got from the public, and we've worked with many of you in the room actually today, to think about how can we design these trust indicators? What would they be? And we've got 37, we narrowed them down to 8, and of those 8, we've got, 40 people from 33 news organizations tried to define them, have been working on defining them from an editorial standpoint so that we can come up with standard definitions. Best practices, citations and references, and these two are highlighted because they're a little more tricky and they ask us to step up. Actionable feedback and diverse voices. Actionable feedback gets to that, let me engage, let me help push that story forward. How can we do that in such a way that it's measurable and also that can provide a signal back to platforms? Same with diversity. Other ones, label story type. Is this news? Is it analysis? Is it opinion? Is it sponsored content? Original reporting. Tell us a little bit about the methodology behind the piece. Author ID and bio. Tell us about the journalist. And this is an idea of many that came out of a design meeting we did at CUNY with the Society for News Design. And the thought would be a trust protocol, a system of those indicators that news organizations would agree to, and you have a mark, and users could click on that and they would find out more about how the story was produced and what's specific to that story. So this one you might learn more about who wrote the story. You could click into that, who was interviewed, citations and references. But this has to be easy for news organizations to implement. So just last week we were in London with, I think 12 news organizations working with us to develop the back end. How can we make it simple to implement a system of indicators? And this is an idea from the Economist team to implement that trust protocol that you just saw. So going back to schema.org and finding the meta tags that might be used and thinking what else needed to be added. This is one that talks about or makes it easy for a journalist to list her sources, and then over here would be the user interface, and if you want to know more about a source, here's how you would find out. So I would love to talk with you more about these indicators. We have 70 news organizations involved right now. We've got interest and engagement. Google is one of our funders. We've got Twitter was at the hackathon, and then we also have Facebook was engaged as well. So looking forward to engaging all of you, and thank you very much.